Over the past year, I've been doing a ton of travel. In fact, I'm just about to cross over 100,000 miles this year. A lot of the trips I take are quick, in and out trips to a destination. As a rule of thumb, I try to never be gone from home more than 3 nights at the max. This helps me to keep my life, priorities, and relationship with my wife in balance. Some of the trips, like this one, are literally flying into a town for 24 hours, having some quick meetings, and then on my way back home the next day. Whether I'm going for 1 day or 3, the items I bring are pretty much the same. So here are my travel essentials for a quick 24-hour trip. All right, a quick 5.5-hour flight. It's a little bit bumpy. This is a nice room. All right, 5-hour flight under our belt. Quick little trip. We'll get settled here in Maui and run you guys through everything that I take on me for a quick trip. All right, guys, well, what a journey. So like I mentioned, a lot of these trips I take are going to be quick, like 24 to 48-hour business trips. And I will say that the one thing that you need to focus on if you're going to be taking quick trips like this is a good carry-on luggage. This carry-on that I have in front of me is from Level 8. So this is our Hegent 20-inch carry-on luggage. So they were kind enough to send this over to me. And I will say, while they sent it to me free of charge, they don't control anything I'm saying about this. And so one of the things that I really like about this luggage, it's sleek, it's black, it has some little yellow accents on it, which I actually really like. It kind of just makes it stand out. And one of the things that I think I am really impressed with is it has an aluminum frame, but it doesn't have an aluminum body. So it has a polycarbonate shell, which helps it with the overall weight of the luggage. And that really is something important when you're going around an airport or having to walk to and from a destination. Keeping things as light as possible is definitely a must for me. Another thing that I really like about it is just how well the wheels seem to work. In addition to that, the actual handle on the luggage itself doesn't have a lot of play on it, and it just generally seems really well built. So on the inside of this luggage, there is a ton of organization, and you have some zipped compartments to keep all of your stuff organized. So a couple other things that I'll say about this luggage is, for the price, this thing feels extremely well built. There's a soft close handle on the very top of it. It is going to be a zipperless design, so you're going to have a locking mechanism on the side of this luggage. And there's a lot of luggage brands that seem to be like in the $700 to $1,000 range. And that just seems very expensive, especially for something that generally you are going to throw around. It's going to get scratched up. And so this thing seems extremely well built. But one of the things that I think you should be aware of if you choose to get black luggage is just knowing that any sort of scratch or dent that you get on it is usually going to expose whatever color is underneath. So I can tell that this being black luggage, it is starting to get some wear and tear on it. And even after a couple short trips using the Level 8 luggage, luggage in general just is going to get beat up. So that's not something that is unique to Level 8. That is any sort of luggage you're going to get. So something that you just need to be aware of. One of the things that I do not leave the house without is packing cubes and organization for all of the different things that I take with me. So the way that I typically divvy up my luggage is I will allocate about half of my carry-on for clothes and things that I need. So that's going to be t-shirts, jeans, a jacket if I'm going to colder weather areas. And then I usually bring a steamer with me. And so that actually all sits in one half of my luggage. The luggage packing system I have is actually just from Amazon Basics. This was like $20 on Amazon. It works extremely well. I love that they have a good zipper pull. The packing cubes are vented, and so that's really nice. On the other side of the luggage, this is, again, something just for me personally, is typically going to be my tech side and some of my toiletries. So on the other side of my carry-on, I'm typically going to have things like a tripod, a camera, any audio equipment I'm bringing. I usually will put my 16-inch MacBook Pro inside of my carry-on. That's just so I don't have to lug it around in my backpack. And so that usually stays in my carry-on, and then I usually have my toiletries inside of the carry-on also. And generally, especially on these 24 to 48-hour trips, I typically won't even fill up a carry-on, but I also bring an extra set of clothes for an extra day, just in case I need to stay in a destination longer, or I miss a flight, that I'm never bringing solely as many clothes as I actually need for my trip. And so that's just a good pro tip, to always at least carry one extra day's worth of clothes with you. That way, if anything happens, you are ready. Okay, so one of the things that I do not leave my house without, especially on these short trips, is an iPad. So as I mentioned, while I do have my laptop with me as something that I put inside of my carry-on, I always have my iPad with me in my backpack, and that's primarily what I'm going to be using for when I'm on the go in between meetings. If I need to do some admin work, check some email or catch up on messages, or maybe just browse a quick website, do some research, I'm typically doing it on the iPad. And while I know this machine is significantly more capable than what I'm using it for, this thing just works extremely well. I have it with the Apple keyboard on here, and so the Apple keyboard is a really premium feeling product. And while this isn't a direct laptop replacement, I've tried to do that in the past, this is something that I will generally use. And the only time that I'm going to bring out my laptop is when I'm actually doing like video editing or things that are just a little bit more robust. So if I get back at the end of a day and I'm just sitting in my hotel room, that's when I'll bring out my laptop. But for the most part, if I'm just running, going on the go, I am using my iPad, and the charging on this thing is phenomenal. So I have the M3 version of the iPad from last year, and this thing lasts me more than an entire day. I don't even remember the last time that I was using my iPad heavily throughout the day in meetings that I actually had to stop and charge it. But one of the things that I cannot recommend enough, and this is really something that if you're really going and just rushing, going from place to place, you have a bunch of meetings, you know you're going to be using a ton of power in, say, your iPad or your phone or even your laptop, and you're not necessarily going to have a place to stop and charge, I always bring with me my Anchor Prime power bank. This thing has a 27,650 milliamp battery on it, and I will say that it has the ability to fast charge a bunch of devices. It can fully charge my MacBook Pro up to 2 times. And one of the things that I especially like about this is it can fast charge via USB-C and recharge this at over 150 watts. And so there's a lot of power banks that I used to carry around that were decent, but if you needed to recharge them, that recharge would take hours and hours and hours and a long time. And sometimes when you're on the go, especially on these quick trips, you need to know that, one, you have a lot of extra battery should you need to power any of your devices. And then if you use all of it, you can easily recharge it within a couple hours back at your hotel room. So this is something, it was a little bit expensive and it's a little bit heavy, but I would definitely recommend, especially on these short trips. Okay, one of the things that I do not leave the house without is a tripod. And so typically, and this is going to be unique for probably more content creators, so I will typically travel with a tripod. And so the tripod I'm using, I'm actually going to film this on my phone and just show you guys the setup that I have. But this is the tripod that I have. Again, something that I just picked up on Amazon. I think it's an Amazon Basics tripod, and this actually fits perfectly in one side of my luggage. It came with a nice little carrying case, and it's pretty lightweight, it's durable, it gets the job done, and I didn't break the bank on it. So I know there's a lot nicer power banks out there, but for my use and just having things that are like quick on the go, this is something that I don't leave the house without, especially if you're a content creator or just somebody who maybe likes to take a lot of good pictures or some still videos and you really want to up the quality. I would definitely recommend bringing a tripod with you, and you don't have to hook it up to a camera. You can get a tripod that works directly with your phone. And I feel like this just makes a world of difference, whether you're wanting to take time-lapse footage, good video footage, or honestly, even still photography footage. Tripods really just let you up the quality of the content you're capturing. Okay, the next thing that I do not leave the house without is my Alpaca tech case. So this tech case actually has a hard surface on one side, so it works at keeping your tech a little bit protected. But the main thing that I use this tech case for is just organization of some of the key things that really I don't leave the house without, especially on these quick trips. So a couple things that are in my tech case, going to be a USB-C cable from Anchor. So I really loved the quality of Anchor products, and so the USB-C cables, they're braided, they don't break, which I know a lot of cheaper cables will. They really work for me. I travel with my Anchor power brick. I've covered this in the past. This thing can charge up to 3 devices at 100 watts. Again, for these quick trips, one of the things that you're going to notice as a theme is wanting to do things and have them done really, really efficiently. So on trips that are 24 to 48 hours, a lot of times you're just going. And so being able to fast charge devices back at the hotel room once they've died is crucial. And so this thing, it is compact, portable, and this is a part of the new Anchor GAN Prime collection, and I have loved this thing. I've been using it for probably about a year now. And then one of the things, this is just personal for me, that I don't leave the house without is a Amazon Fire Stick. So this allows me to take any sort of television in a hotel room or an Airbnb, plug this directly into the back of it via HDMI. And one of the things I really enjoy about this is all of my apps like YouTube TV or Netflix or Amazon Prime Video are already logged into the Fire Stick. And so all this thing takes to work is just a valid internet connection. And once you're hooked up to the internet, then you can stream all of your favorite TV programs, and you're not having to log into like all of the individual accounts in the hotel televisions, which that can just be maddening. And again, I plug this thing in the back of the TV and then I'm good to go. So another thing that is an absolute must for me, in addition to my carry-on, is actually a backpack of some sort. And so I've covered this backpack on the channel. You guys have seen it before. This is from a brand called Faure Le Page. While this is a little bit of a bougie backpack, I'll say that branding aside, a backpack is an absolute essential for me. So while I have my carry-on, typically the things that are going in my backpack are going to be an iPad, headphones, things that I need really quick on the plane. And so typically I'll put my carry-on of the overhead space up above, and then my backpack stays with me. So the things that I'm going to need really quick stay inside of my backpack, and the things that are important to me with a backpack are going to be a good durable material. So that's typically why I will gravitate towards a leather product. And then some of the things that I really enjoy about backpacks, regardless of the brand, is going to be some sort of mesh backing on the backpack to make sure that you're not getting super sweaty, and then just overall good durability and build quality on it. So I've tested a couple different alpaca backpacks over the years, gone to some of more of the luxury brands. And so there's a lot of different things that can work based on your scenario. But I would say that having a backpack and just making sure you're being smart at how you're organizing it and laying things out are absolutely essential. And then last but not least for me are a good pair of headphones. So typically the way that I structure my trips, or at least some of the things that work for me, is if I'm going to go from an Uber to the airport and then walking through an airport, typically I'm going to have in-ear earbuds. And so recently I've been using the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds in place of my AirPods. And one of the reasons that I really like these is they're just a little more sleek and subtle. I can walk through the airport and people don't just notice giant like white earbuds sticking out of my ears. And the noise cancellation on the new Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds actually works significantly better at lower frequencies than some of the counterparts like the Sony earbuds or the AirPods 2. So I've really enjoyed those. And I'll typically wear those from the point that I leave my house all the way until I get on the plane. And then once we've taken off in the plane and we're at a cruising altitude, that's when I'll actually switch to my over-ear headphones. And recently, for probably about the last 6 months or so, I've been using the Sony XM5 over-the-ear headphones, and I have absolutely enjoyed them. So one of the things that I think I liked better about the XM4s is that they had a folding design and they could sit a little bit more compact, but I have not actually needed additional room in my backpack, so I'm not fully packing things out, and I've had more than enough room for these headphones. I love them. They're great noise cancellation. They're very comfortable on my ears, and so the quality on these things is absolutely great. So yeah, those are a couple quick things that I bring on a quick business trip. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And we are actually just landed in beautiful Maui, and I am here for just over 24 hours. So again, just walked in through the door. I'm basically gonna get ready, gonna hit a couple meetings, and then try and get back home as soon as possible. So I actually have a birthday coming up in a couple days. And so I know my wife is excited for me to get back home in California so I can celebrate with her. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining this video. If you guys have liked the comment, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the content. We are going to be releasing more and more content exactly like this. And if you have some recommendations for things that work for you on short 24 to 48 hour getaways, I would love if you could share those things down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining. Till we meet again. Peace.